Hi everyone, good morning, welcome back. Today we are going to discuss about SQL architecture, what is SQL and then how we can the front end applications are going to interact with the back end databases, how the data is going to store. So these are all things we can know so to understand better concepts. Okay. So this is the diagram I just prepared now to understand the concepts. So how the web applications, for example, we have multiple web applications in the market. They are going to store their data in the form of databases. Example, we have these are the databases, like these are the applications. Paytm is one application, more, and then trends. We have some other other applications are also available. So they are going to store the data in the databases in the back end. Okay. After that, they want to generate some kind of reports. They want to see some monthly trends. They want to see like in a day how many products was sold, how much profit they got. All the things they want to see. So how they can see if the data is everything was stored in the one place. So if they can use some queries, they can retrieve the data and then they can use the graphs and then they can see the trends and then they can see their business, if the business is going increased or if the business is lost, they're getting the losses. These kind of details they can see. So how they can see it? Okay, so these are the applications, the total bookings or ticket bookings. Okay, here what they can do means they can use some kind of web applications and then they can use they can use some kind of mediator. They can use these kind of authentications. They can log in into the database and then they can store the data. Example this. So we in the more supermarket we have multiple client missions. Okay, so these clients what they can do, as soon as the customer purchase some products, okay, they can enter the how much amount they purchased, how many items they purchased. All the information they can put into these systems and then this system is going to connect with the firewall. That is they can use some kind of SQL authentication or some kind of a Windows authentication thing. Then they can use they can store the data in the SQL database. So this is the this is the flow. They can store the data in the SQL database. So this is what the happening in the front end. But as a developer, SQL developer, what they can do? So they can't involve in this process. Okay, so their job role will come once everything was available in the database, in the form of database, in the form of tables. Everything is ready, the data is ready in the database. Then they can play some kind of tables. They can do all the work whatever they want based on the requirement. Now, so this is how the data will be stored in the databases. Once the data will be stored into the database, then we can understand what is the database. Okay, what are the types of databases? So we have some kind of system databases, we have some kind of user databases. Okay, now, so if we see the system, if we open the databases option, now we can see system databases and then user databases. So these are the user databases. If I click the expand the system databases, then we can see these are all the 4 system defined databases. We are not going to work with this. Okay, so these are all the default databases. Now we are going to work on the user defined databases. Okay, as I shown you, right, how the data will come into the database. So for now there is no tables was available into this particular tables, only the system tables was available. Okay, then what they will do means, for example, the more supermarket will connect to the this finance database and then they can create one department. Okay, so this department, for example, the food products. Okay, food products will come into the one table. Okay, there is another a grocery. Okay, those come into the one more table. So like this they can create. As soon as the customer will purchase the food products, then the data will go to the food table. If they purchase any grocery or other related items, the data will go into the grocery table. Okay, that is how from the front end, the more the agents they can enter the data, and then as soon as they can enter the data by using this flow, the data will sit into this particular database. Okay, so once data is available here in the database, now as a SQL developer they can write some queries and then they can print or they can show the result what they want based on the requirement. So this is what for now, and then we can discuss more in like real time scenarios how the real time projects will work. Before that I can explain one more point. So for now I just disconnect this one. I'm going to use the connect mode. So for now I'm just using Windows authentication. Windows authentication means if I log into the system, what user is this? Okay, now this is a Windows user, so the same user is going to log in into the SQL server. That is what Windows authentication. The SQL authentication means, for example, like in my current organization, I am using Windows authentication, but in the other organizations, they can use some SQL authentication. Okay, so in this system, I logged in as a Kaushik Reddy. Okay, but I'm going to log in into the server. Since this Kaushik Reddy does not have access to the particular server. Okay, this server. Okay, now what I can say, I can put my credentials like for example Lakshmi, I just put it. Okay, so this user is having access to this one, but the Kaushik Reddy does not. That means the Windows authentication is not going to work anymore. So that is where the Windows authentication, SQL authentication. So here we are going to, in the SQL authentication, we are going to give specific users. Means user 1 we are going to provide access to into this database, not for all other users. That is how SQL server authentication will work out. Okay, so that is the basic flow about how the data is flowing into the database. Okay, for now I just created this, and then maybe in the coming sessions we can discuss everything in detail. I hope like you can understand this one. Kindly let me know if you have any concerns or questions.